Hello and welcome to another new episode of Learning Simplified. So, in this tutorial, we are about to learn CSS, but we must respeculate our previous project, which was based on pure HTML version, and there was no sign of CSS so far. In the previous project, we have seen that in every cases, wherever we have introduced a tag, we have introduced the corresponding properties related to it. And this is a very crucial factor, as in case of in every cases, whichever case we have seen here, what kind of tags we are using, we are introducing its core-relevant properties along with it, and we are repeating it. This is practically a very bad move to construct a code. Now you may think that what's the problem with it? The problem is the more you code here, and each time you are coding a tag with the corresponding alliance with it, with the corresponding properties along with it, this is a very bad procedure, as it may generate more errors, and in resolving those errors you may face some problems in case of very large projects. So that is why all we do, we actually document this whole things, this whole properties into a single page or into another segment or area of the same web page or HTML page, and then we call them wherever it is needed. So that is why we do not have to repeat these codes again, all along with the tags. Everything of them, they are just coming under some class name or ID name. They are being called and the properties are being executed as it should have been. And this is the necessity that introduces CSS. So what is a CSS? CSS is actually a cascade style sheet. It is actually used to stylize the documents present and written as a markup language. So naturally, as of in the definition, we may conclude that CSS is nothing but to stylize but it is actually to stylize your HTML document. So as we can see here, that p align justify, we are actually writing the property, the attribute, what kind of alignment will be used by this p tag or this table thing. And in case if you want to change the font, you have to introduce a font tag each time whenever you are documenting something, whenever you are entering some content into your respective columns. But this is a very tedious job, and the most all you have to do is you have to repeat your codes, and on repeating those attributes or properties, it may generate errors anytime. And another thing, the size of your HTML page is also being enhanced due to this repetition of attributes or properties. So that is why CSS is now introduced over here. So what is a CSS is now known to you. Actually, there are three kinds of CSS that has been extensively used in case of web design and development. They are respectively inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. Now, in an effort to define what is an inline CSS, rather I would like to present some examples in front of you. You are actually defining some properties over here like align, justify, or you are assigning these things like border, zero, cell padding or cell spacing, width, height, BG color in some cases, like we are seeing here, BG color. This is actually presenting the background color. So any kind of attribute or properties that comes within a tag, comes along with a tag, that property is known as the inline CSS property. That means your stylings, those are being described on the same tag, the tag which is being introduced on the necessity of this project. Now, another thing, that if you try to make something like this, something like just right here like this, style, then comes the font, now if you go to your project, first of all you have to do is to press a Ctrl S over here or go to File, Save. then all you have to do, just go back to your browser, watch it, and you see that all these stylings, those have been changed. Now you may say, okay, now the styling has been changed here. That means we are introducing a CSS over, right? We are actually introducing a CSS over here, as you can see. These are also CSS properties. These are actually attributes or properties. Those are being used here with a common attribute which is known as style. You are actually stylizing your p tag over here. Now if you just write over here like text align, justify, and press Ctrl S, come back to your project, and you just reload, and you see that these whole text, they are now being justified here, and they are actually taking the proper alignment as been ordered or instructed by you. So this is the thing that you may choose. So this is another kind of inline CSS. That means all these properties, they are coming along with the p tag. So this is, and they are actually being used under the same tag, which is the p tag. So that is how we may conclude this is an inline CSS that we are observing over here. Another thing that I have almost forgotten over here, all you need to know first, you may see that in case of BG color or the background color, we were using this property. Actually we were using this property, BG color. But whenever we were trying to depict the background of the p tag used over here, we actually used the property background. So actually this is the thing that is being used over in CSS. CSS uses background rather than these BG color properties. And this is known as the separator, semicolon here. It is actually known as the separator, which is been introduced with a colon over here, and it is written in this format. And there are some basic changes, like as we have seen here, we have used here alignment as center. We have used here align as a property, but here we are using the align. It is not actually align, it is a text align. So there are some basic changes in this CSS styling things. All you need to know is to first of all these changes in CSS properties and how they appear or how they come over here. So what we were discussing on is the second thing, the internal CSS. Internal CSS is actually what you are writing over in your head segment. Always remember that head segment in the HTML document, it actually carries a very significant part. This is the area where you may link your page with other useful resources like JavaScript, like jQueries, or like CSS. We will come to know about external CSS just in this tutorial after some time. And this is the page where actually everything comes in. And another thing, some kind of JavaScript, they are also been written here. So actually in this head segment, we just link our useful resources to the HTML page we are actually working on. So in this head segment, what we need to do, we need to write it as, what we are writing over here is actually style, type, and of course it should be text by CSS. So actually with this thing, we are telling this HTML document page as a new kind of CSS is being introduced over here. So get yourself prepared for that CSS type. And this style type is text by CSS. Now give any name over here such as dot. Suppose I am naming it as tag holder. Now all I am doing here, I am writing some particular properties of this tagline, which was this one. It had a width of 600 and it had an h1 tag. So all we need to do here, tag holder, first of all Don't mention any height over here. Just provide some margin. And we are providing a particular background color over here. For say it is CCC. Now you will see here the dot tag holder. We have actually created a new kind of style over here, where this dot, it is actually the class name. It is representing a class name. Tag holder, it is the name of the selector, and along with the separator, the properties are being chalked out over here. So now if we use this tag holder, this is actually the selector name that we are gonna use into our project. So if now we come back to our project and we are replacing this thing, this table which actually contains the tag over here, Brahman, mythology or history, we are actually replacing this whole thing with a new kind of element which is known as div. And I am introducing a class over here which is known as the tag holder. And what I'm doing over here, I'm just closing it off. You see that div, this thing is actually it is actually known as the division of element. It actually groups all kind of block content holder. So this is extensively used in case of styling your properties, and there are much more things like this. So what I'm doing here, I have just replaced that table and along all of its properties that were such bigger with a greater amount of codes right over here. And then what I'm doing here, I am just writing down the same tagline over here. And we will now press Ctrl S, reload the page to see the difference. Now we see what we are actually seeing over here. This is the background, and this is actually the main content, the tagline, which were shown over here. And the same thing is, as we have seen in case of our templates, the same thing is being observed over here. But there are one or two deprecation over here, such as this text alignment property and many more things. If you talk about this text alignment property, then what you can do, you just get back to your project, go to your tag holder and write down this property over here, such as text align center. Come back to your page, reload, and you see now that the alignment has been done in